in community, we use the word in our area inclusion. How would you describe your feelings about inclusion and your ideas about community?
Right. Well, like anything, right? Inclusion's a great word, and I think that's what we're driving towards. Inclusion for me, a lot of the advocacy, a lot of the lobbying that's taken place is really about getting people in the same room as others, allowing them, to have a seat at the table.
Right.
And inclusion for me is more about being invited in. It's about being part of the conversation, right? It's about bringing a dish to the table. I think, a lot of times what sort of lobbying or advocacy can do is it can change the geography of a place so a person's part of that geography. They're part of, they live in that community, they're in various sort of relationships with people in that community. But inclusion is more about folding people into the social fabric, so.
And people sometimes talk about inclusion, or they talk about integration in sort of a...
Right.
What would you make a distinction between the two?
I think it's useful, maybe. I think it's useful to the extent that integration, I think, is typically when we talk about people being part of the social, the same landscape as everyone else, right? And so they're not segregated. You'll find them in our stores. You'll find them on our streets. You'll find them in our places of work, and so on. And I think usually integration, you can look at it that way.
Right.
But the inclusion piece, I think, is more about the invitation to be part of something, right? Not to just live on our street,
right,
but to come to our house, where I'll miss you when you're not there, right. Where I know your name and you know my name, mm-hmm. and we know to sort of check in on each other. That to me is more inclusion, where we value what the other person brings and we want them to be part of our lives or our community.